All right, so now we're going to practice dividing with two-digit divisors. And this assignment, I even had to look it up because it was so just a little bit different than the way I learned math. And so if there's any parents watching this, this one is going to help us out because I had to figure this out a little bit. So we're going to start with a simple problem, 156 divided by 13. All right, but in your homework, it is asking you to solve it using base 10 blocks. And I didn't really learn math a lot with base 10 blocks, so I had to figure it out. So, number one, let's go ahead and what I found easiest is we try to just change 156 into a number that would be easy to divide by 13. And so we're going to break up 156 into two numbers. And the first number is 130. Okay? 130 divided by 13 would be really easy for us to do in our heads. But then we have to figure out what that other number is. So I'm just going to take 156 minus 130 to get 26. So that's our other number. Okay? So this may not be the way you were taught it in class, but this is the way that I think is the easiest to figure it out. So I took that 156 and I broke it into two numbers. It still equals 156. 130 plus 26 still equals 156. We're just breaking it apart a little bit for us to be able to do our base 10 blocks easily. Okay? So now we're going to take that 130 and I'm going to do a big square for the 100. And then I'm going to do 3 10 blocks for the 30 part. So we got the 100 and then the 30. So this is the 100, these are the 30. And then I'm going to take the 26 and I'm going to do 2 10 blocks and I'm going to do 6 ones. Okay? So now we have this 130 and this 26, and we're going to divide 130 divided by 13, which I hope we all know is 10 because 13 can go into 13 one time and then we have that 0 left over. But then we also have this 26 here, so then we have 26 divided by 13. And maybe we know this, maybe we don't know this, but 13 times 1 is 13, 13 times 2 is 26. Okay, so that's may not be a mental math problem, it may not be a math fact that you have memorized, but it is a pretty easy, even if we just did 13 plus 13, we have 26. So 26 divided by 13 is 2. So then to get our answer, we have 10 plus 2 equals 12. And so that means that 156 divided by 13 equals 12. So we started with the question, 156 divided by 13, and we really broke it into two smaller, easier division problems. 130 divided by 13 and 26 divided by 13. So we're really solving two separate problems, and really what I should have probably done is just put a little plus sign in here to show that we're still adding these two numbers together. We're still adding these different base 10 blocks together. And then in the end, we add our answer together. The 10 plus 2 equals 12. And then we circle all the way back to the question, 156 divided by 13 equals 12. And the best way to double check is to take these two numbers and multiply them together. So I'm going to redo this and make it line up because that's my big thing. We should always be neat and organized, at least with our numbers. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 1 is 2. We're going to have that little 0 placeholder there because now we're moving on to the tens place. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. And if we add that all together, we get 156, which is what we had over here. So we have double checked our work, and 12 is our answer. So that was a lot. So let's try one more problem and see if we got it. So let's try 210 divided by 15. Okay, so we still want to break up that 210, and I think the easiest way to break up 210 is to do 150. And if you don't know what 210 minus 150 is, let's just subtract. 11 minus 5 is 6, 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have 150 and we have 60. And remember, we're going to add those back together because we really just took the 210 and we're rewriting it into smaller, easier to divide numbers, okay? And again, your homework asked for base 10 blocks. So 150 can be represented with 100, and then 5 tens. Okay, so we have 100, and then we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 60 can be rewritten as 6 tens. And again, there is still a little plus sign in there because we are not, you know, those base 10s, we're writing them separately, but they still belong together. They still add up to 210. Okay, I'm moving down a little bit more. So now we have 150 divided by 15, and that should be an easy 10. And then we have 60 divided by 15, which is not as easy if you don't know your 15 facts, which most of us don't know our 15 facts. So we could break it down even further. If you notice up here, I wrote these in 30s, and I did that on purpose. So that's 30, and that's 30. What's 30 divided by 15? We probably know that part. 30 divided by 15 is 2. Let me go ahead and write it in numbers for you. We have, so we're just going to kind of have like a little side note here. 30 divided by 15 and another 30 divided by 15, because we know 30 plus 30 is 60. So now we're just breaking it down again into an easier number. 30 divided by 15 is 2, and another 30 divided by 15 would be another 2. So that must mean that 60 divided by 15 is 4. And if we wanted to double check that, we could. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So we're correct. So we have 150 divided by 15 is 10, and we have 60 divided by 60 divided by 15, which is 4. So then we come back to, we need to add those numbers together. 10 plus 4 equals 14. So our final answer for 210 divided by 15 is 14. And we should always double check our work. So we have 15 times 14. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. We already did that over there. Now we're going to have that tens placeholder, that tens value placeholder. And 1 times 5 is 5. We don't have any carried 2 anymore because now we moved on. We're not using that 2 anymore, so I should have erased that before I moved on. 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 1 is 1. And when we add that all together, we get 210, which is what we should have had to begin with.